Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
Discover Crypto family. The markets are bouncing around. We got a nice run up this morning up to about $114,000 on Bitcoin. Ethereum pumped above a little bit over $4,100. We're seeing a little bit of a retrace right now, but I just want to shout out real quick before we dive in any further. I did post this yesterday talking about a historic pump setup. So does that mean this little baby little run up just a couple $1,000 was that? No, it has nothing to do with this chart. In fact, I do think what we saw today is only just warming up for what we're going to have coming here in the next coming weeks. But we've got a lot of stuff in the charts today, and it's not just Bitcoin. It's not just Ethereum. It's also major shifts in gold. And is there a big sort of doom story for those that have been jumping in, basically becoming exit liquidity up into the top of this gold range? Or is gold going to keep going? Because if we do get that rotation, I think it could be absolutely magnificent for prices in Bitcoin. But I got my main man here right now as well. Mr. Druth, how do you feel about this gold pullback, 6%, with Bitcoin seeing a little bit of a run up? Do you think this is a bit of a foreshadow for what's to come?
Well, first of all, I think I'm cool as hell for calling that pullback yesterday, though I didn't get the damn short in. I was trying to short it on this new perp dex, VDEX, that Binance rolled out, and I was looking at it. I was talking about gold pulling back. It happened, and it was the biggest pullback since flu season. So chaos.
But you know what? You know, not only was it a pullback, it's also the man that is so tied in with gold, Mr. Peter Schiff, actually said that gold is more likely to hit $1 million before, I don't know what happened there, but gold is more likely to hit $1 million before Bitcoin. This is right as we're coming into a top of this. And I just want to caution, much like we saw the other day, all those lines outside of gold, you know, banks and gold depositories where people were buying, lining up. That is what exit liquidity looks like. If you are buying after a move or into the very peak of a parabolic run, I don't care what asset it is, it's more likely than not that if you have any upside at all left, you're basically among those last people buying those bags. And, you know, in fact, we could see that in other data like this, looking at this massive spike in options. These are people betting on price going up. And look at how high this is. I mean, highest that we've seen maybe ever, but at least going all the way back to 2008. But look at the previous peaks, top, peak, top, peak, top, and look at how high this is. So it kind of makes sense that we are seeing that major shift. And this is what it looks like. Direct, no adjusted for days. Gold's pullback here at the same time that Bitcoin also saw that beautiful rise in price action. Just to remind everybody that was worried about up to October, well, guys, we're only 0.14 off of the opening price for Bitcoin in October after all of that movement that just happened to the downside. And we've been talking about this the first two and a half weeks of this month, that it was very likely going to start manifesting. If we we're going to get October, it was more likely to happen in the second half of the month. And this is only further sort of pressed forward by the fact that we have this Fed interest rate coming up at the end of the month as well. But that's not to mention, we have the Fed talking this morning. I hope you all were watching here on Discover Crypto. But the Fed is in there with, you know, the leads of the largest exchanges in the U.S., the Sergey Nazarov from Chainlink, talking about crypto, talking about integration, talking about payments, about real-world asset tokenization, about stablecoins. This is a different landscape for crypto than we've ever been in. Would you agree, Drew?
The Federal Reserve is bull posting Morpho, and we are going to the moon.
That is what I feel. It was absolutely insane hearing them highlight Morpho, dude. That's a small market cap project that they're highlighting. And really, I do have some pointed thoughts about what the synopsis of the Federal Reserve is actually doing from that meeting. It's a pretty good write-up from Eleanor Tourette. We also got to look at gold. We have major changes to the amount of output that China is doing in terms of rare earth minerals. The plan from Amazon to put out of work over 600,000 employees in a very, very short amount of time. And massive, massive chaos this morning, Kelly. Had a lot of fun trading. Shout out to the Discord and the thesis that we were going to pump today. I put in the Discord. I acted on that, pulled off a 220% move on the full bag this morning, and also disagreed with my boy, James Wynn. Last night, I was on a space with him, and I was kind of arguing back and forth. And the guy's, he's trading with $40 million trades. I just saw the chat going on between James Wynn and Bitlord. I got up there. They brought me on stage. We chopped it up for a really long time, and I actually am working on getting James Wynn to come on to the show here. I want to bring him up on the show and get his opinion, because I really think that his mindset is incredible to have such conviction in what he believes in, and conviction can outpace intelligence almost every single time, right? So, yes, he did get hit with it looks like he got liquidated from that trade, but you know what? He's going to be able to trade on. He's going to be fine. The guy is mostly in spot. Those giant bags that he's leverage trading with, they may look giant compared to like me, right? I'm a middle class guy that's just got my whole life savings into crypto, but he's got some wiggle room, right? And he's definitely in spot position, so he's going to be all right. Shout out to Matt Malik. We're going to be bringing him on later in the show to be talking about breakout prop and what's going on the arena. We have a great arena show going on right there. But Kelly, yesterday in the morning, we were talking about a move back down to that general, I think it was about 108,000 some odd dollars on Bitcoin. Now, the move that we did experience instead, we sliced right through it and then back up over it. Absolute whiplash on the markets. I still stuck true to my bull thesis here. Massive amount of liquidations, shorts getting spanked, then longs. What are you seeing in general price action for what Bitcoin's, sitting at right now? Because it's been a very, very hectic, past 48 hours. And I kind of wanted to, I didn't get a chance to do the Discord morning open trade, show with you this morning. So I'd love to get your general thoughts on where the markets are at for Bitcoin, particularly like the flow and where we're looking at here.
Absolutely. Well, yesterday we were talking about the price action coming up in to tap that liquidity that was up there. Didn't quite get there, and we did. Both of us highlighted that move down to somewhere between 108 and mid 109s. And as you can see on the price, I haven't zoomed in for a reason. You're going to see why. You see this came down, tapped right into that same zone, that neckline of all of this liquidity. And then we still talked about all this liquidity that was above us and how that tends to be like a moth to a flame. The bugs go towards where the most liquidity is, where it's brightest. And look at this, sliced right through that area. And then ultimately exactly what we talked about happening, getting the short squeeze where you get the quick movement up. And you want to see, despite everybody wanting to be a bull, you want to look for pullbacks. Pullbacks tell you where the strength of the bull narrative lies. So the slice up here and the subsequent pullback into this zone actually is looking relatively good, because if we look at this, let's say on a 1 hour chart, nothing is unhealthy about this. We had the move down into the zone we talked about, the very, prosperous, exciting move up. And currently, look at where the price is. Right now, it's only fallen so far as to where these previous range highs have been, which is, almost exactly what you'd want to expect. Now, I will say, you don't need this absolutely to hold there. This would be the most bullish spot for the price to pull back to and bounce. If this were to come back down a bit further, you can draw a bit of a fib there. And you notice right now, we sliced through the 382. Let's look at that like this. We sliced through that 382. We'd be kind of watching for this middle zone right in here, which is also about the middle of this whole liquidity band right in here, about 110. And that would still be relatively bullish. One of the things I do like on the 1 hour.
Can I pause you real quick, Kelly?
Yes, you can.
All right. Hold on. I got something.
You are banned.
There you go, buddy. All right. Carry on, Kelly. Carry on there, buddy.
Why did I get banned?
No, Richie.
Oh, okay. Guys, we have so many different chats that it's hard to keep track of.
Yeah,
because they're all in one window.
I got him.
I tried to warn Warsaw.
But this is a signal, guys. I keep talking about this 50 line, and look at where Bitcoin pumped. This is where the RSI broke above 50. Look at this. This is before we had that big move. So the strength was telling us a story before the price action actually happened. So I wouldn't necessarily say take a buy on the fact that this broke above 50, but this is a great leading signal. And you also see the money flow is angled very sharply back up towards this zero line. And you got this nice move to the upside. So as it stands right now, it's kind of like, you could call this a bull flag. This is a, very, very droopy sort of pennant right in here. And you can see this if you're on like the three minute chart, you see this. But ultimately, this is kind of what we want to see. We also see Ethereum. Remember, we were talking about that very big trend line. Let's get into it. This very big trend line that goes back months, all the way back here till March. And the fact that we're still fighting on it. And this is created a new indicator for me, guys. This is the indicator we all want to pay attention to. Is if Ethereum is able to break out of this and find support, great. We're going to be, swimming out on the lake, having hot dogs and, snow cones with each other. If this comes down, rejects again and breaks down, then ultimately this is going to lead to being the SSRI indicator, meaning there's going to be a lot of depression likely throughout the market, because this would likely signal we're going to be in for some months yet on end for alts to potentially actually have those runners.
Yeah. I was talking with Win last night too. He was looking like there's people looking for like $50,000, $60,000 per coin. I went up there to kind of fight back against that narrative. And, it's basically, I see stuff like this where, is this the right one? Here, I'll switch this. All right. So Bitcoin going up or down from here, right? And a lot of people, the hopium is that the price actually falls back down to that $70,000, $60,000 zone, that old school range that we used to play around with right here. And then kind of all hell broke loose. And we're on, in my opinion, is institutionally controlled walk upstairs. And the charts right there, I think this 300 moving average is going to be very, very powerful for us on many different timelines, like the daily, 4 hour, the weekly time frame. Very, very powerful indicator. I really like this. The pump up that we've experienced so far right now, I think is a pump for ants. I don't think that this market is over with by a long shot. Yes, we could get that sweep down into the crazy numbers of, $70,000 Bitcoin. I'm a buyer. And the lesson and what I'm talking about this for is because you get crypto you hold at the price you deserve, right? If you have enough guts to buy Bitcoin after a 50% pullback, you deserve that half off Bitcoin. That's how I look at this situation. And what we saw this morning with the Federal Reserve talking about altcoins, not just talking about Bitcoin and the longevity outlook of Bitcoin, but really DeFi and altcoins. They're bull posting about our bags. We are early and we are bullish. Now, the 4-year cycle everywhere, but the midterms are coming up next year, Kelly. There is a political, economic reason to pump our bags into the election cycle of 2026. And with that being said, people are betting against this market, and nearly $300 million worth of Bitcoin and crypto shorts were liquidated over just a few hours this morning. Absolute gut-wrenching movements. Now, as far as gold goes, Kelly, this is what I'm looking at, buddy. So in this similar movement of the past, we had an exciting 3-month parabolic move on gold. You come back down and then you swoop under that 300 moving average. I'm really liking this because I was back testing this. What we just had was that consolidation point right here, which I called out, as well as right here at $3,400. This $3,400 consolidation point before blast off is actually the main one that I'm looking at, because this is right at the signal that we knew the Federal Reserve was going to cut interest rates into inflationary return, thus repeating the cycle, in my opinion, where I think gold is going to go from here. It could keep going up to $5,000, near $5,000, but I am watching for a return back to $3,400, a little bit of a dip under that, and then the monetary system is going to rinse and repeat the same process 10 or 20 years from now. So this is what I think is going to happen to gold. No, I don't think that it's going to go back down into the, say, $1,000 range, $1,500 range, but this is a substantial pullback. This is the biggest pullback on gold since April of 2013. So a 6% pullback on a $30 trillion market cap shows you how fast life can come at you, right? And a lot of people that are in disbelief that we can add $1 trillion or $2 trillion to the crypto markets are about to find out that the risk asset class is going to be ballistic during Federal Reserve interest rate cuts and general liquidity injection into an economy that will come to a lockstep if they do not do so. So you can bank on this. Here's the question. Are they going to be responsible and just let the system fall apart and the monetary system fall apart and those banks go under and be reasonable about things? Or are they going to just simply print their way out of it once again, right? Printing their way out of it once again restarts the cycle process.
Well, on that note too, I mean, don't forget, we also had that correlation with what we saw with gold. Where is that at? There we go. And that offset, Bitcoin has been tracking this pretty darn close. And again, this is offset. So this is what happened with gold 80 days ago. And Bitcoin has been tracking this pretty darn close. And it does look like potentially we could be coming up into that time frame where we're going to start to see some of that enormous amount of bullishness come into Bitcoin. And I think what you said was enormous there regarding gold seeing a 6% drop. The percentage points, I think, mess people up in crypto because they don't realize when the NASDAQ or when S&P 500 moves up 1%, like yesterday closed 1% up. That is major magnificent move to the upside in terms of the growth in dollars of market cap. Now, when you have gold, which is, a decatrillion into the, $30 trillion range, 6% move is enormous. It's, almost as big as the entire crypto market cap as it stands just on a dip to $4,100. So the thing that's impressive to me isn't that dip. It's the fact that we see the argument still about how much Bitcoin's market cap would have to increase to hit certain price points. And then you look at gold. I don't think, most people 3 years ago, you could have told them that you were going to see price go from $2,500 to, $4,400 in the matter of, basically a year and a half, massive increase into the, $10 trillion range. So I do think that the most interesting thing that's on my mind about this right now is what sort of sovereign games are going on in terms of the gold market, because what happens if gold gets, if this is partially getting inflated on behalf of the U.S., on behalf of China, and whether, the U.S. may finally reprice our gold and then rotate, I don't want to say crash the gold market, but rotate some of those gold profits that they're going to be able to realize. Because right now, you guys have to realize Fort Knox hasn't been audited. Great. It's also, why are we holding, trillions of dollars worth of gold?
Kelly,
And it hasn't been priced since 1981. They're pricing it at $42 an ounce. So what happens if they reprice it at over $4,000 and then rotate some of that profit into Bitcoin, baby?
Hold on. I think a lot of people that I knew, gold bugs of the past, absolutely expected gold to go to 5K, 10K. I think more upsides in the future for gold. I think tangible assets that have been being stacked by central banks, like gold, I absolutely did expect this moment. And now that it's here, it's just about how high it can actually go, and something that you said is very, very powerful. We're underestimating this 6%, 6.5% pullback on gold. It looks like just a couple percent, but it was a $30 trillion market cap. Who's selling the gold is what's coming to my mind, Kelly. You just
let me ask you a question then. I got to give you pushback since you gave me pushback. You were suggesting that in January of 2023 that there would be very likely 140% increase in gold's market cap.
140%?
In under 2 years.
In under 2 years?
Yeah.
No, it was a long-term, like I was a gold bug back in it was like 2015, 2016, that time frame. And at the time, like we were way lower in price. It was just about, a reckoning and then the gold having to be the backing of the dollar, which that idea I feel like is now dead wrong now that I kind of see what's actually happening. So my thesis back then was that the Federal Reserve would back their dollar once again with gold. I just kind of doubt that they have the gold, Kelly. I doubt that they have that.
I do too.
I doubt it. So, I didn't, over the past, like 2023, ever since 2020, when I saw oil go negative, I completely backed out of, what I knew as existing in our backing of a dollar. I was like, okay, this is an absolute complete scam. And then I started moving into crypto. You know what I mean? So after the flu season deal happened, I basically went all in on gold or on Bitcoin. I sold my gold and went all in on Bitcoin. So, gold bugs, they're on to something. I think they're on to something. It's just
and I can only show this briefly because I want everybody hit the like button right now. Everybody hit the like button right now because this might put some limitations on us. I'm not going to really read it out, but take a screenshot and read this, because if you don't understand this, then you don't really understand what's been going on in the world for the last 10 years, 15 years. Because let's talk about that. Proposing gold-backed currency, all of a sudden no longer exists. This speaks to not only the need for stability of control of fiat systems, but also, the undermining effects that people face when they actually try to utilize hard currencies. Think about what's happened with Bitcoin for the last 16 years. And it's only now kind of reaching a bit of grace in the system, but it's still in the face of a lot of bureaucratic nonsense. I mean, luckily we're seeing these talking groups right now, like with the Fed and also with the DC blockchain summit and some of these other things. But just because those conversations are happening, it doesn't mean like next week, everything's all free and clear. We're good to go. We can make it happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And, Trump's kind of on his Gaddafi phase right now. So it's kind of interesting to see, Trump turning into the wise dictator, right? And Gaddafi, you know what? He held back the influx of cultural reassimilation that is now taking over the European Union. So now that he's gone, Europe is being basically walked all over. This is a good idea. We should look at Avantis this morning.
Let's look at a couple charts. First off, on the altcoins, one of the things I'd like to start with, just to remind everybody, we still have major possibilities in store, and there's no telling what's going to happen here, guys. So these are just ideas. We saw this in the others chart, everything outside the top 10. This is what happened last cycle. Okay, we had the run up, we had the sell off. Is it going to be an alt season? No, it's over. I'm so mad at crypto. Boom, moonshot. Well, we had the same thing just take place. We did not think this was going to fill. And then magically, we had just a flash crash from hell that turned out to be a gift from heaven for those that had dry powder on the sidelines, or strategy not to sell and capitulate in fear. The question everybody's banking on right now, if you are holding any altcoins, is to what scale, if we get that bullish breakout, to what scale will we get this portion of the market? Is it going to be very aggressive? Is it going to be a slow burn? Is it going to be only some coins, or is it not going to happen at all? I'm curious what you all think right now. Do you think we're going to get yellow, green, or red? Say it in that chart. Based on this chart, say it in the live chat. What do you think is going to happen for the others, for everything that's outside of the top 10 on CoinMarketCap? That means everything under Cardano, everything else. How do you think they're going to perform? Do you think we're going to get a boom season? Because when we look at this, we kind of see like it's possible. But let's look at those coins. First, let's start with ETH Bitcoin. ETH to Bitcoin ratio. That's a weekly. Let's get a bit more small. Let's get down to the 1 hour. We're fighting to break out of this zone. If this breaks out, we start getting that movement in altcoins. When we look at look at this. RSI rejected at the 50 line. We need to get above that 50 line. Money flow finally flipped positive. Good start. So what does it look like? Link had that great news today and it hasn't done a damn thing. Link has turned into the frustrating stablecoin until I think all systems get launched on this, especially, the fees are now starting to roll out. A lot of the testing with Swift and Linnea and Link and all this is going to run out. So I wouldn't be sleeping on this, even though it doesn't feel like it's moving. Look at this multi-year compression into this zone. So I'm still stacking. If this is going to drop down here and touch this again, which is very possible, I think that would be insane. But this is what we're watching. Look at that RSI rejecting right at the 50 line, but money flow positive. So if this breaks out of this, I think that's when that move, on Link happens. Somebody said Avantis. Let's look at it.
Yeah.
We talked about this. I mean, look at where that rejected. We can actually draw this out a bit longer. Look at exactly where that rejected. This was a previous falling wedge that these are supposed to make bullish. What have I been talking about on this channel? These have been faking people out. Every pattern has been faking people out in this market time and time again. And what we get, we got the breakdown. We found support on this basically consolidation breakout range, this bull flag here. And now look at the bounce, boom, right into not only this previous range low, but also this descending level of previous support that is now resistance. So this is the zone on Avantis that we need to break out of. And we talked about this yesterday, Drew. One of the reasons I think Avantis could be pumping is because of all this centralized exchange control and issue with AWS, what we saw with Binance last week. People kind of looking, okay, let's figure out how we can trade on chain and not have issues. I mean, how many of you, throw one in chat if you have ever been, get your face on here, Drew. How many of you in chat I want you to raise your hand if you've faced this, Drew. How many of you in chat have faced a scenario where the market is dumping or the market is breaking out and you go to log into Binance or Coinbase or any centralized exchange that you use and the activity is limited, the functionality is limited, it crashes, it doesn't show the charts, it says whatever it is. Have any of you all dealt with that? I guarantee if you've been in this market for more than 6 months, you will have dealt with it at least once. For those of you that have been here years, you've dealt with it at least 3 times every cycle. Right. And it's the most frustrating damn thing ever.
I was trying to panic buy Chainlink on that liquidity poll from major exchanges. And I think on Coinbase, it only got down to 12, maybe $13. It wouldn't let me do it. I had plenty of Tether, plenty of dry powder to go in there and hammer into super cheap Chainlink. And missed out on an 80% move, right? I mean, I could have got it for $12. It's at $20 just about right now. So yes, that is very aggravating. And yeah, I think we had a good structural talk on why crypto even needs to exist, highlighting those problems yesterday. There has to be a thing that you are fixing with society to have major disruptive upside. This is what I think we have with crypto because we have infrastructural issues with our data movement as things sit right now, but that presents opportunity. What is Aster looking like? That was hot off the shelves. Now it looks like it's riding on a downhill ride to hell. What's going on with this?
It's not really getting that love. I kind of wonder, I honestly don't know. This is just speculation. I kind of wonder if Avantis is performing better because Aster, although it's outside of Binance, still has some links to CZ and by virtue also loose ties to Binance as well. I don't know, but this is, I mean, this had a massive run up and a massive sell off rejection, and then just kind of, this does look like it's bottoming though. This doesn't look like it's setting up for further downside. This is kind of rounding out. Money flow is positive. RSI is below 50, but this is looking like it's kind of higher lows. It's looking like it wants to take a swing back to the upside. So that may be in store soon as well.
Interesting. Well, this morning
Hype.
It was
same thing on Hype.
Oh, you want to check out Hyperliquid as well?
Well, I'm just saying it looks the same way on Hype. It's kind of descending, but it's kind of rounding out here. RSI is trying to fight. They're trying to get into the strength territory. And so there's like this battle of the hopium in the market. The 4-year cycle isn't real, but then there are real people that are de-risking because it is a possibility that the 4-year cycle may go into a year-long bear market. And I think it's going to take some months, even with the run-up that we may get here in the later half of October. The 4-year cycle theory would still be correct, even if we ran up all the way into December and then crashed all of 2026. So I think regardless of bullish or bearish price action, the next 3 months, we have to pay attention to what happens in Q1. So there's going to be some risk buyers that are taking a shot on the 4-year cycle not being the case. And there's going to be a lot of big money players. And I don't mean like institutions and stuff. I don't think institutions are even considering 4-year cycle. I'm talking about big money people that have been in the market for many cycles that may want to take some off in case the market does have a pretty large drawdown.
I finally got this guy live. I see this guy trolling every single video we put out. James Moroni is a fraud. I don't even know who that is, but that picture looks like a hard R card. And also, you're dead wrong. We nailed it yesterday. We nailed Morpho. The Federal Reserve was bull posting about my micro crap. You brick. So here's another one.
You are banned.
objective data. I ran my profile through Grok and had it go back on my profile 5 years and give me a rundown of my correct calls, my semi-correct calls, and my incorrect calls. And it was like 14 of 16 ratio of pretty damn spot on. So I appreciate if it hurts your bias or you're making the wrong moves.
I just am so happy I found him finally. All right, so get back on track. We got to talk about what happened this morning, Kelly. Okay, because altcoin charts be damned. The Federal Reserve was allowing our altcoins to be shilled to banks and Federal Reserve governors this morning. Absolutely delicious. Let's check it out. Post from TJ, Discover Crypto. They brought the top DeFi builders to the Federal Reserve to explain DeFi to big banking. They highlighted Chainlink, Aave, Morpho. What up? What up? Bought this dirt cheap. Jito was kind of a moderator. They had a gal from Jito moderating Uniswap, USDT, and USDC, right? Stablecoin. Super sexy. But Eleanor Tourette did a good write-up. Big news out of the Federal Reserve, the Payments Innovation Conference this morning. Governor Chris Waller announced the central bank is proposing a new type of limited access master account, or what he calls a skinny master account. This is all legally eligible institutions to receive direct access to the Fed's payment rails so that they don't have to rely on partner banks. With this setup, they wouldn't access all the services of a full master account, like the ability to borrow from the Fed. Importantly, every legally eligible entity could get one, and the legal rules for eligibility wouldn't change. Essentially, this new master account light would allow the Fed to greenlight innovative banks, including fintechs, stablecoin issuers, and other payment companies. They're acknowledging crypto stablecoins as currency. This is a huge deal. She highlights companies like Custodia Bank, Kraken, which have spent years trying to get the Fed master account, with Custodia even taking the Federal Reserve to court. It could also speed up access for companies like Ripple and Anchorage, which also applied this year. So though boring and nerdy, this is a very, very important systemic change to the way that banks view crypto. And importantly, within this conversation is that banks, a lot of them view crypto as a dangerous competitor, which means that I'm on the right track, because the main thing that pushes me in to making sure vast majority of my value and wealth is in crypto is the fact that I hate the Federal Reserve so much. So with that being said, yes, I'll do male astrology all the time, but the structural long-term outlook of crypto has never been more sure than it is now. And these cheap prices make me excited. I want Chainlink let's go through it again, CZ. Bring Chainlink back to $10. You know what I mean? I dare you. Let's do it. Absolutely. I got some macroeconomic news we can smooth over real quick, and then we can get back in the charts. Rare earth exports are dropping heavily, 30% month over month in September from China. So there's a little bit of pullback on rare earth exports in the month of September, highlighted there. We have Polymarket launching 15-minute up and down crypto prediction markets powered by Chainlink. Not a big deal. And also, stock market concentrations has reached 1800s levels. Information technology and communications, their stocks now reflect a record 45% of the entire U.S. Stock market cap, okay? And now with that, Apple hit all-time highs as it opened this morning, and it also plans to put more than 600,000 people out of work by replacing them with robotics. And you know what? Bezos was seen on the way to the office this morning to get ready to deal with those damn humans that are left behind in his warehouse, still collecting health care, still collecting all of their paychecks. There is going to be a reckoning to the way that we make fiat currency, the way that we mine fiat currency, which is why it's so damn important to figure out crypto, to figure out nanotechnology, biotechnology, and the best stocks there within, along with energy, rare earth mineral companies. There is so much money to be made. We just have to apply ourselves and see where the money's actually flowing. With that, Kelly, I'm very excited to look at the rest of the charts that you have in mind. And in a few minutes, we're going to be bringing up my buddy Matt to talk about some chaos that he's been up to on chain and also with me in the arena. So I'll send it back to you here, buddy.
Yeah, let's look at a couple of those coins that were a part of that conversation with the Fed. Uniswap, obviously major overwhelmingly major DeFi player out there, especially on-chain trading. Dex, one of the largest Dex. I don't know if it still is, but it's been up there for quite some time. Major trend line here. I'm looking at the 3-day major trend line here that goes back to 2022. In fact, you could argue it comes all the way back to here, but multi-year trend line. We had the major wick to the downside coming back up. But what I like to see here, especially when you're looking at like the 8-hour or what time frame was I looking at? The 12-hour here. Look at this massive sell-off. And we only had a slight dip it was a dip back to a nearly zero on the money flow, but huge amount of money flow came right back in and the price is kind of stabilizing here. This is bullish to me. What I'd like to see is the RSI break out of this downtrend that we're seeing. It's been a kind of a I'm going to just draw on it because it's not really a straight line, but a multi-month downtrend here and this kind of correlates right about where this 50 line is. So I'd like to see the RSI get back above this downtrend as well as the lower half here while the money flow is either still up, persisting, or even raising. That would, because we ultimately need to get Uni back above this. So even if the price were to push up to here and reject and the RSI is flat, I would expect this to come down a bit further. If this moves up to this zone and the RSI breaks out while the money flows up, I would expect this to have a continuation to the upside. The other one I want to look at is Aave, major player in DeFi lending, right? If we look at this on the 3-day chart, look at that massive washout. They tried to really cause some issues there. And ultimately, this is just in an uptrend. It's been in an uptrend all the way since back here. Let's say August 2023. Bounce. Had the washout, came way the heck back up. RSI, as painful as this may be for some people, realize also when you get these major drawdowns in RSI, you also have a lot more room to run when the price does bounce. So look at this bounce, not only on the trend line, but the RSI is fully reset. You had a pretty big move there. That move on that, with RSI fully reset, that was 244% move off that. So are we going to get the same thing here with a much higher low? I mean, that would be nice, but we're waiting on that RSI to tick up on the 3-day. If we look at the 8-hour, we're kind of getting some chop zone. It's like confidence, bounce, but not really. Again, why is this? Look, weakness is still in control. So we need the RSI back above the 50. We need the money flow to come back in. And ultimately, you want to see Aave break back above about 254 to 260. This high and this low here with the RSI above this and the money flow ticking up. But that's what I'm seeing on those altcoins.
Yeah, I want to actually give my buddy or a new buddy here. I see a chat. Someone's dealing with some stuff here. I'm going to scroll up to it because you know what? The whipsaw price action of this market, it's taken a toll on people that are, kind of susceptible to big price moves, or maybe, just what's culturally been going on. You're dealing with issues, right? So peace, love, suffering from mental health issues. Please help someone. You got a place here. I'm a kind of guy where I'll absolutely conversate with you. You can hit me up. I remember the working relationship that I had built up with Matt, who's going to be on the show very, very soon. Matt hit me up probably 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning. I was up late. I shouldn't have been up late. And I was looking at my phone and the entire market was going to hell in a handbasket. And he hit me up. And it was at the time I wasn't responding to, DMs on Discord very effectively. I was wrapped up in a lot of other production needs. And we just ended up kicking it off. And now me and Matt have a pretty big show together on the arena and a completely new trajectory on what he's doing. Kind of the same thing for me, but just expanding into AVAX. But I understand that the political atmosphere, the economic atmosphere can be very, very difficult on people. I'm a father of 4 children. I took my kids out to lunch and it cost me $120, right? Things are very, very hard for families and for parents or people that are isolated right now. I will say that I empathize with you and you'll have a place here to conversate with me. I just want to give you a quick shout out.
I know. I love that.
Never give up.
I love that. I'd love to also highlight this. I've been posting things that, and whether you believe in God or not, I think we can all believe in being kind and service and all these positive acts, but people forget with that notion they forget that these acts of service, these acts of time, love, respect, kindness, this doesn't just mean outwardly. You have to make sure that you're giving these things to yourself. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for errors that you've made. If you're not forgiving yourself, you cannot move forward. Realize it, accept it, take ownership. I messed up, but that doesn't define who I am. How do I get back on the path of where I want to be, or back on a path towards what it is I want to do? Even if it's 1% improvement, if it's waking up 5 minutes earlier, if it's doing 1 push-up today instead of 0, if it's looking somebody in the face today where you normally don't, and you say, hey man, I appreciate you. Just being positive in the way you have discourse with yourself, letting go, and also forgiving other people. You don't need to be out for vengeance if somebody hurts you. How you're going to get somebody, oh, they deserved it. No, let's speak to ourselves kindly. The kinder we are to ourselves, the kinder we can be to other people. And I do feel for you, for those of you that don't know, just quick breakdown. Years ago, I was in a very bad accident, broke 22 bones, had about 70 plus surgeries, coma for a month, hospital 3 months, cast and crutches for 8 years, had a second accident years later, was in a, hospital bed in Bangkok for a month, and then a bedridden for another 4 months, and then wheelchair for 5 months. So I've had a lot of time to sit and think, and I can't say I understand specifically what you're going through, but I can say I've been through hard times of my own accord. And I do know that you've got to accept where you're at and not weigh it against where you think you need to be. Everything that happens, even the negative things in life that we want to feel a victimhood for, if we take ownership and, okay, this happened, what's my next step? Let go of how it happened, why it happened, the reason. Do you deserve? No, accept it, and then figure out what your strategic action plan is, to whether it's to learn to sit up in bed again, like I had to do, learn to go to the bathroom. It doesn't matter. Every step gets you closer to being back to where you need to be.
Absolutely. And I want to know in the chat, we had a great comment here. Cardi, are you guys buying or holding right now? What coins are you planning to buy in this general low? I mean, there's a lot of coins that I think are going to do well, but I feel, and I said this on a show with BitLord and James Wynn last night, it is a very selective altcoin season to come. I do feel that way. I say it outwardly. I think 25 million different crypto projects exist for probably 7 million of those coins are going to fail. So I want to know what you guys are out there buying right now in this massive pullback, because I'm looking at this as an opportunity. If we're able to move concisely through the opportunities, me personally, I feel like, I'm basically only looking at Chainlink, Morpho, Aerodrome, and Bitcoin and Tether. You know what I mean? So I gotta get Nick back in here. I hit him up the last time we had that Scamwick chaos, man, and yeah, I mean we chopped it up a little bit, but I want to get him back on here as well. And also Pancake Swap. Someone was bringing up, you brought up a couple interesting BNB plays, and people are kind of wondering if the Binance momentary season is over, Kelly. And Pancake Swap is from last bull market, and it moved very, very violently to the upside. Kind of curious what the general chart looks like, because it had like a few days of very, very great price action, and I haven't heard much since then. What are you seeing here on the charts here?
Massive ranges. It doesn't, I mean, if you just looked at it on the 3-day, it just looks like a massive sideways range. But if we let's get over to not the perps, but just the spot market. I mean, again, this is, part of that DeFi narrative, kind of a little bit legacy, like Uniswap, nice rounding bottom. I will say that, look at this on the 3-day, the RSI has not broken below, really it's tapped right about, but it hasn't really broken below the 50 line, even with these sell-offs, which is nice in this zone. Money flow is not yet agreeing with the move, but if we get down a little bit more granular, this does not look super sexy as it stands right here. But this is breaking down, coming back up, breaking down. We are finding a bit of a floor here at a very slight angle. I would say RSI on this case is below the 50 line. This looks like it's trying to find a base. It really does. It looks like it's trying to find a base coming out like this. If this were to drop down, I'd be very cautious in the zone sub 260. I think that potentially, if the market as a whole is starting to swing back up, then I think this would be a good buying opportunity. But as it stands, meaning below this line, but if we're able to break above this zone, I'd really be watching this area right here, which would be about the 328. Potential rejection, support, and then bounce out from that. But yeah, it just looks like it's compressing into this very tight range. So be very cognizant if this does break out to see where it finds support on any retrace.
Yeah. Good chat here. I see AVAX or Avantis for which to buy.
Well, what's your risk level? AVAX is kind of up in that blue chip level. Avantis, you probably have a huge amount of more upside if it does run, but there's an incredibly higher amount of risk because the market cap's so much smaller.
Yeah. AVAX is more here to stay. I've seen a lot of RWA increase on AVAX. Right now, AVAX is absolutely bleeding though. And I was actually looking at this on the Arena show just minutes ago. This trend line basically from inception is something I was looking at on Avalanche. Why is this not working? I don't know why the trend line. Basically, you have higher lows going consistently, but then that washout, that scam wick, went well below that moment here. AVAX is sitting at $20 right now. I haven't seen this in quite some time, $20 AVAX. It broke below the midpoint of the W pattern though. And the last time that we were in Max Sphere and I felt like buying Avalanche, kind of similar sentiment to what we have right now.
Well, the RSI bottomed at way under 30, it down at like 26.
Yeah. And these momentum waves, deep pullbacks. We're not quite there yet. And we're actually still riding downhill from that momentum wave on the weekly. But the general crypto market sentiment is horrible. I would actually prefer Avalanche over Avantis. Me personally, I already hold some Avalanche though. It's leftovers that I got from this buy point here at $10. And then I cheated most of them at about $52 a piece. So what I have left over is cream on the top of a moon bag. Oh my God, that is adorable. Oh my gosh. Everyone, what kind of dog do you have in the chat? What kind of dog do you have? I need to know. I go through Next Door Neighbor and I go through everyone's dog pictures and I just see what kind of dogs are in my neighborhood. Really, he's a Caney Corso Pit Bull mix, and then it's like a shepherd. What do you call him? Like a blue terrier. I think. I don't know what Hoover is. I don't know what the hell he is. What kind of dog is that, Kelly?
It's a pit terrier mix. Pit lab
terrier mix.
Pit lab.
Okay. We got a Shiba Inu. Got an Ollie. I want to know what kind of dog. Dalmatian. Liver. Oh, what?
Hey, blockchain.com changed their PFP today to a dog and was bull posting dog.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. All purebred. Dogs are important. Had a Cane Corso, Jack Russell. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah. I mean, in this time frame, man, like I am pretty well set and I don't feel like making hyper speculative moves on like super low coins. The only like really low market cap coin that I don't have yet that I kind of want is Linnea. Let's see here. Linnea is just beat down. This is a consensus backed project that is publicly, been noted to be working with Swift. It does intrigue me, but the chaos of this chart and the size of market cap makes me want to keep my exposure level low so that I don't end up getting hurt by overexposure to a project like this. Like you have all the bullish fundamentals going for Linnea. I don't hate holding a little bit of it, but just don't get too overexposed in case everything goes to hell in a handbasket. Right. Elise, I knew it. It's the blue healer. And you know what? Elise has been following the longs, and then when I close, it seems like every time I close a trade, she shorts it, and she's doubling my performance in trading because I close the trade, it goes down, and she's actively in a short. So,
oh my God, Rob got it, dude. He's been nailing these Pit Lab like Bit Lab. I never even thought of that. What a call! But you know what? I do want to call something out today. Also, I know we got a guest that's going to be popping in here in just a moment, but
Yeah.
I wanted to share this. First off, that insider, whoever they are, who's been really nailing these big moves, before that big move this morning, basically 100% win rate, went long before we had that move to the upside. And I do also want to call out, Kraken, which is actually the partners, or the main people behind Breakout Prop. They actually highlighted the fact that there's a lot of people that got wrecked last week, and even we see today, we see yesterday, every day there's hundreds of millions of dollars in people liquidating themselves, especially newer traders and big money players like James Wynn, when they're not taking advantage of tools. And one of those tools, one of the reasons why we partner with Breakout Prop, Crypto Face loves it. We love it. There's a trader main, a lot of big players, whether you are a pro in trading or a newcomer. Basically, you can trade with leverage without having these major deposits or major margin issues or cross margin that liquidates you, where you lose some money? Sure, on your evaluation, but you're very limited in the amount that you can lose while you still have huge amount of access to get involved with that. But I'm going to throw it over to you because I know you got your boy Malik's going to be popping here and talking a little bit about his experience with that as well.
Much love, Kelly. I'll see you very, very soon, man. Absolutely awesome. And you know what? Yes, we have Matt Malik. He's on the show. He's going to be great. Maybe the best. Matt Malik, what are you doing? How are you doing, good sir?
You know what I was doing was just realizing that having 2 StreamYards running at the same time, total disaster. Total disaster. And was getting feedback sound that almost blew my computer up. And I think I blew the arena up at the same time. Just wanting you to know. I hadn't thought through this double StreamYard situation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there were 7 volumes. I turned off every volume except the one I needed to. Yeah. So,
Matt, I think
trying.
You just pulled off some pretty big stuff on Breakout Prop, bro. Did you pass the test?
I passed the test. Yes.
I should have done my trade on Breakout Prop this morning, man. But I did L Bank. I had to go after it with a bunch of raw
trade. I needed to get to 11100, and that got me to my 5%.
Yeah.
Now,
can you give your camera the signal so that people can understand the technological advancements that you're working with your AI?
Okay. Hold on. Camera. If you really want me to do that,
I do. Okay, and I'm going to go full screen on it so we can get really soak this in.
Being on your side of the StreamYard right now is freaking me out. Okay.
Is it? Why?
Because it's like everything's backwards right now for me. Because I just figured out how to do what you want me to do, and if you want me to do that, I have to turn it all on because I turned it off.
No, you don't have to.
I just did it. I just did it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, it's turning itself on right now.
I forgot. We got to examine this idea of. Richard Hart was chiming in yesterday. I'm going to examine this for you, Gal. I don't think I'm going to do it today, but I will examine this thesis from Richard Hart. I absolutely will. Go on, Matt. Go ahead.
No, that should come. Wrong one.
What kind of shirt? That was. Oh my God! He just killed himself. Did Matt just die? He does sound like Cryptoface. All right, let's get it back here.
What happened?
I don't know. You pressed a button, but Matt,
okay,
you
so
made it. You passed the test.
I passed the test. It took me like 4 or 5 days because the market was so choppy. But it was very sad.
The overlords are getting him, man. I'm so excited. I want to talk to him about it. He's been fighting this. I just I wanted to get him on stage. He does have a killer shirt. We'll give him some time to come back in. I think we got the link in the description. If not, use code DISCO at Breakout Prop. If you guys want to learn how to trade with parameters where you cannot exceed 4% of the bag being lost on a trade, I do implore you to go check out Breakout Prop. I'll add this to the stage. It's breakoutprop.com. You use code DISCO and you get a pretty good discount. It's hard to get a discount on this. The thing about it is that you cannot breach the losses limits, okay? So you take the test, and if you pass and you make 10% gain, then you get funded a massive account. There's Matt. How you doing, baby? You back alive? Nope, he's not back alive. I'll give him a minute. He's a agent of chaos that's just moved into a giant bag to trade with, and he is now more dangerous than ever. I'd say he's more dangerous than ever.
This is more dangerous than ever. I've got Simba Kunta.
Oh my
So
So-
okay, so I'm gonna get my $5,000 of breakout money, right?
Mm, mm.
And
Are you going to trade alts or are you going after Bitcoin? Like, what's their
well,
game plan now?
I think we're still limited, right? Like, I mean,
I mean, they have a select amount, but I know you can trade like
Yeah.
ETH. You use 2x leverage on altcoins and things like
now
that.
I think ETH was 5x,
Hmm.
Sol was 2x, everything else was 2x.
Okay.
So it takes a little while to figure out like what you're like, how to use the margin because you're not used to using such low margin on those tokens, right? But it definitely teaches you to be disciplined, right? That 4% a day thing really forces you to pick your spots and go in tight. But no, it's just if you don't have a lot of capital, which is the case for a lot of people in the world right now, right? Because of what happened recently, you can turn $60 into 5,000, which is what happened. And because I paid the extra $6, I'm getting to keep 90% of the profits.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I like that it builds those walls and those parameters so that you have to act within reason. You can't, lose 20% of your bag and diamond hand it to try to make it back out. Having parameters and a process is important. Oh my God. Oh, it doesn't work now?
No, it works. Yeah.
Let me see it. Let's see it.
No, it's not it's not going to work by going full screen. Okay.
All right, hold on.
It's not going to work. It's going to hate me. No, it's not going to do it now.
Damn it.
No, it won't do it.
Your AI
it's going to do it on its own. In 2 seconds, it's going to just zoom in and zoom out on its own.
And Matt, we're also doing something for our arena show for everyone that shows up on the arena show.
Let's announce this right now. For anybody that's on the blockchain basement,
and
if you come over to the arena show, Coldtree will be in the new. I have to create a new space or a live stream there because apparently 2 StreamYards don't like mix. So I almost blew the whole thing up. So but if you do that starting in like 3 minutes, Coldtree and one other person from here will be there, and $5 at least, $10 for the first 2, $5 for the next 8, and then it'll probably be like $3 to $4 for up to 20 people today.
Absolutely.
And we're doing that pretty much every day for like 10 days.
I'm going to pin the link in the chat too. So putting this in here. So if you guys show up there, we got a lot of arena token that's at mega lows right now that
so getting the token now, if you're getting $10 and it's basically what $50 was like a month ago.
Right.
So it's the best.
It's kind of insane too, because yesterday's show had 700 people on there. It's a ton of activity happening.
Yeah, and right now there are 2 lives. Oh, great. You know what? The other 2 live streams just ended. So if I go live right now, we'll be.
Don't do it. You're going to break it.
I can't do it unless you were to pump your stream can, but we can't do that.
Right. So it's all good. It's all good. But I wanted to announce this. I've been meaning to announce this. Me and Matt, we go live generally around 12:30 every single day.
Yep.
Yes, it's chaos. There's duck races. We're giving away tokens.
So if you don't get it for being a convert, you will probably win one in a duck race.
Yeah. We have duck race. And it's cute.
We race ducks and or we spin wheels, but we play games. We try to have fun. We do some technical analysis. And we don't do haircuts. We don't do haircuts. That's what we don't do.
Haircut. I mean, I cut the side every now and again, maybe like the top, but I'm letting this back flow, bro.
No, I need to go. I need to go get a haircut like very badly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you should. I really don't know. It's almost part of the look.
You mean the mad scientist look? No, I'm not going for that.
Scientist look. Yes.
I mean, listen, I'm very angry at you, AI camera. I'm very angry at you right now. You're being very misbehaved. But yeah, no, Drew and I have a ton of fun. You guys, you'll have a ton of fun too. And it will not be long before that show is ending up multi-streamed everywhere else too. So yeah,
absolutely. Well, Matt. Oh yeah, DCA.
What time do you have?
DCA Bray doesn't even know who you are. That's why we got to announce what we're doing over there. I've been terrible about announcing. I just go.
Oh my gosh, DCA and Bray. Who is this guy? I mean, I would ask who I was too wearing this T-shirt.
It's true. It's true. And if I saw you in a gas station,
you would run.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
You'd
scared.
be like, he's homeless. He's homeless. He definitely doesn't trade crypto. He's definitely not passing the test on breakout.
Yeah. No. I'm so happy for you. And you know what? I still have to do the test, and it's been a battle. I got shook out on one test, and so I have another
Dude,
one
that
open
was
right now.
having done the
crazy.
test a proper way where I had like days to do it.
Mm.
Getting shooken out in the first hour would be so devastating.
Yeah, but you know what? Having the losses be $60 if you're going for a $5,000 account, it lessens your downside exposure and really, really does train some good trading habits. So I like it. I like what they're doing. And do implore you guys, if you are seeing these trade wins, like this morning was incredible, $4,500 for 2.5 hours while I was sitting there watching the Federal Reserve bull post my altcoin bags.
Yep. And then if
Come
you're trading on VDEX, if the amount of points you'd be farming.
We're going to talk
have
about
a
VDEX
system.
later on.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm just
That's
saying we have a
whole nother
system. Yep.
For
We have a system.
VDEX, isn't that being incubated by Binance and
It was,
OKX? Or who is
it was Binance and Gate.io.
Yeah, Gate.io. That's the one.
But it's 7 chains.
Well, and we knew to short gold yesterday on there.
We
and
did.
I just didn't.
I
pull the
longed it.
trigger.
Remember?
Yeah, I know. And then
I made $1. I made $1.
Well, you know what? It's gonna be okay. And it's almost perfect that you came on today because there's a lot of mental stress I can see in crypto holders right now, Matt.
Especially before today. Like the last couple of weeks. Whoa,
absolutely. Man. And you remember how our working relationship began
in chaos.
In chaos, dude. And
then me coming to Atlanta and just seeing that gigantic building of insanity.
Right. Now it's much more reasonable. So next time you come,
I know I haven't seen the new one yet. I got to see
the lounge room is going to be bad to the A, bro. They're building it out right now. I'm super excited about it. I love this.
What do we got here?
Stupid Bitcoin is also going down, idiots.
You know, I should have worn one of my swags from your company today. I don't know what I was thinking.
No, you shouldn't.
No. That'd have been too.
All right. Well, we're gonna get going after it. I gotta.
Are we done?
The kids.
Are we done here?
We are.
Children. People in crypto don't have children.
I have many children.
I know.
Okay?
I know.
I have many children.
I know. My favorite people in crypto have many rugrats running around.
Make sure that you guys click the pin link if you want to receive some free arena. And
the arena will be open in 2 minutes.
Okay. Well, click the link. Go find it. Love and appreciate every single one of you out there in the chat. Matt, thank you very much for joining me on the show. You're coming back this week, and we're going to talk about VDEX
and
all
functional AI cameras.
And you will have your AI camera.
Never.
Stay based, you guys. There's a stress that's going on. See you, Matt. It's okay to feel emotional toil when bags go down exponentially, but what doesn't have to control you is your emotions. You must remain in control. Please keep this in mind. The markets are going to get crazier and crazier. Bitcoin, a lot of people think it's over. I don't think so. I have a hard-sided opinion that this bull market is not over. That's where I am. I'm publicly trading the most volatile asset class on the planet. And I love and appreciate every single one of you out there for joining me on this show today, even the haters. And I will see you very, very soon. Until next time, I bid you.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.